So, I mean, took us 3 days, 12 hours a pop. I mean, 12 hours of just sitting there, just rode. I mean, the most exciting thing, I think, when we got to Alabama is because there was all, like, this cotton fields. I'm like, oh, snap, we're in the South. Like, look at this, there's cotton in this. What is that song? I wish I was in the land of cotton, right? I start singing that. My dad's like, all right. You know, I'm trying to drive. I mean, three whole days of this. So the second day, where are we? Where are we the second day?
No, Georgia.
Georgia. We're in Georgia. What do we do in Georgia? Huh?
Bob, I took notes.
You weren't in Georgia.
I think
We were somewhere.
Somewhere near Georgia.
You went to Georgia?
No, we drove to Texas, but this is the end of the second day.
Yeah, but you were in Georgia on your way down to
Virginia
Texas?
to.
I don't know. We were somewhere.
Probably in Tennessee, right?
Maybe Tennessee, something like that.
What?
Second day. Oh yeah, second day. So we get there. We're at this hotel, and I'm like, all right, because we eat breakfast, we drive for 12 hours, and then we get something to eat again. You know, it's not like we're pulling over like, oh man, look, Mickey D's, pull over. It's like, no, you driving for 12 hours looking out the window. You know, I had already I had my iPad with me. I just got it, not just got it, but I had it for a little while before that. And it's like, I had beat every game I ever downloaded. Like, I don't know, what do they call that stuff? That Player or whatever? Game Club or whatever.
Oh.
Game Center. Y'all can check my high scores. I probably got y'all beat by 1 million in every game y'all ever played. So anyway, so I had already beat on my Johns. We're there in Tennessee. And I'm like, Tennessee, all right, let's get something to eat. Tennessee, maybe some barbecue, whatever, let's do it. And so we're asking the hotel guy. We're like, yo, so where's there a place to eat? Oh, there's this little place, a little while up the road. A little while up the road, maybe that's, it can't be that far, So me and my dad were like, all right, so we walked to the end of the parking lot, and then the hotel's like this little back street off the highway. And it was like we walked up the one street, and we looked down the highway, and it's like this crusty place outside of a gas station, like one of them gas stations where you stop in and be like, you have a flat tire. You're like, you get out. No, I don't. And then they run to the other side. You got 2 flat tires. It's just like, man, what the heck? Where the heck are we? So anyway, we're walking down the road. I mean, this place is seriously like a mile down the road. I'm like, Dad, are you kidding? Like, I'm not walking all the way down there. Let's get back in the truck. No, son, diesel fuel is expensive and this, that, and the other. I'm like, man, they're paying us for the trip. We're not doing this for free. He's like, no, it's not that far. So we're walking, and I'm like, and it's straight highway. We had to walk highway for 2 miles. I mean, we look like, these crusty little Mexican escapees. I mean, I had a backpack on and a hoodie, and he's wearing like a hoodie and some jeans, and we look like, we just crossed in looking to pick fruit somewhere. And so we're walking down the road, and I'm looking at it, and there's all this stuff on the side of the road, and it's like dead armadillos and dead snakes and people clothes with no people. I'm like, man, this is it. Like, I'm gonna get taken out, and that's gonna be a wrap. Like, we're still walking. I'm seeing more dead animals, dead rabbits, and dead big balls of fur. You can't even tell what it is anymore. More dead armadillos. And it's like, I mean, you name it. It was, except for a person, it was dead on the side of the road. Somebody ate it. So we finally get to this place. So we sit down and we're like, all right, can we have some menus? And the girl's looking at us like with her gum, like. And she's like this. She's like John Lawrence. And she goes and not that that's a bad thing, whatever. And she gets these menus. She comes back and she kind of like slaps them on the table because she's looking at us like we ain't had a customer in like 50 years. And, and the customer service ain't changed then. It ain't gonna change it now. And so we're looking at the menus and the menu says breakfast, lunch, dinner. So I'm looking at my dad. I'm like, what should we get? We'll take 2 dinners. So, you know, all right, you know, she takes the menus, and you know, we're sitting there like, all right, you know, what is, I wonder what we're gonna get. Like, so they come back, and it was like noodles and ketchup, noodles and ketchup, and like chicken nuggets. And I'm like, oh man, this has got to be like the best meal. Like, I drove all the way to Tennessee to have noodles with ketchup and, you know, chicken nuggets. So we're sitting there eating there. I mean, and I look up, and sure enough, the town sheriff pulls in the parking lot. I'm like, this is
What?
They probably
what
think.
happened to this?
Huh?
You didn't say this
I
yet.
remember different stuff. You know, I tell it another times. I remember different things that occurred to me. So, yeah, I had just finished my noodles and ketchup, and the town sheriff pulls up, and he's walking to the door like, gonna get me some immigrants. And whatchamacallit, so the lady was like, alright, you know, y'all done, you know, here's y'all check. So I'm looking at her, I'm looking at him, so I slide her my debit card with my ID on top. Alright, yeah, don't think we're playing any games. I got a driver's license. So sure enough, the sheriff was like, alright, that's not them. Gets back in his car, you know, I mean, like, you name it, stereotypical sheriff with the big hat and the sunglasses, like, I'll arrest you for chewing gum kind of sheriff. So we're done our noodles and ketchup and chicken nuggets, and we go to leave, but now it's dark, and it's just like, man, like, I'm gonna be added to the collection of, you know, more dead armadillos.
Dead armadillos.
Yeah, I mean, and it was real. I mean, we really looked like escaped Mexicans then, because I mean, it was dark. We're huddled over like this, like looking around, make sure no cars are coming. You know, that's the end of the second day. So the third day, we're driving. Whatchamacallit? We get maybe about 20 minutes from our destination. My dad starts going, oh. So I'm looking at him like, what is he like? What is he got the Holy Spirit or something? Like, what is this boy's problem? I was like, I was thinking that, so I was like, hey, what's your problem? And he goes, my arms is cramped. We're gonna crash. So I'm like, all right, it's not that serious, right? He's like, all right, I'm gonna pull over, see if somebody coming, right? So I opened the door, and no sooner did, I mean, because it was a high truck, I mean, the seats, I mean, you're sitting down up here, the step to jump off's like right here, you know what I mean? We're in a big truck. We're in a big truck. So right when I lean off the point of no return, like right, I mean, my feet had left the little platform there, and like for a moment in time, I'm suspended in the air, and sure enough, Mercedes-Benz, like right, almost get taken out. As soon as I land, I'm like, this is it, I'm about to die. And I look over, and sure enough, there's nobody there. But, you know, I'm like, all right, you know, you can come over. Look, are you looking? Yeah, I see, get over, right? And then he's yelling at me, we're fighting and all. So he pulls into this gas station, and, you know, we're all mad. And it's funny, because we were all mad at each other, looking at each other like this in the car, because, you know, we're mad at each other, but we can't go anywhere. Like, we have to stay with the truck. So we're sitting there mad and, you know, looking at each other. I look up, and it's a church. I'm like, oh, man, like, you can't be mad outside of church. I forgive you. Like, so he's like, all right, I forgive you, too, for what did he say? I forgive you for letting myself let you get me upset. And I'm like, how does that work? So he's like, all right, we're at this gas station. He's like, all right, we stopped. What do you want for dinner? I'm like, we're at a gas station. You know, what are we going to get? So that day for dinner, I had gummy worms and Dr. Pepper. So I'm like, you know what, let me make the most of this. I'm cutting it with a knife. No, I didn't do that. So sure enough, you know, his arms finally, you know, get the feeling back at him. He's like, all right, you know, because, I mean, he was driving 12 hours straight like this. You know what I mean?